Welcome to the Filipino American Woman Project podcast show, brought to you by our family on biasboba.com.
We're your co-hosts, Jen Amos
and Nani Smith.
After 3 seasons of sharing stories for Pinays by Pinays, we've gained the knowledge and language to articulate our experiences, and now we're ready to tell our own.
As we venture off into the world of business partnership, we want to bring you along for the ride.
Keep listening to hear how we explore our Pinay identities together as podcasters, content creators, and entrepreneurs.
Now, let's get into the show.
Hey everyone, welcome. Really excited to have this conversation. We are waiting for Nani to join us, but in the meantime, we have a returning guest coming back on our show. I have to look up which episode you were on. Tsuki, do you have it memorized, like which episode you were on? I'm going to look this up right now.
38.
Was it? Okay. Hold up, y'all. If anyone can pull up Tsuki's episode number, Rachel, I'm calling you out. No, I'm kidding. Rachel's really good at this stuff. She's like really good at like doing these searches. But on your Chismes with Jen and Nani episode, that was episode 33. So that was like our post recording, Tsuki, if you remember that, like after we did your first big recording and you were like fired up. And I was like, we should just keep recording because Tsuki's fired up. And I feel like she has a lot of things to say. And there is some huge chismes in that particular episode. I do remember that. But if you want to listen to Tsuki in her TFAW Project episode, it's episode 138. And this came out in summer. So you know what that means, Tsuki? It means that we've been friends for I think 5 months now, like 4 or 5 months since you've... No. You've been active before, but we had to invite you on because you were about to go to the Philippines or you just returned from the Philippines. Mm-hmm. And we had to capture that energy, on the show.
Yeah, no, I think I contacted you in April.
Yeah. So April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. So we've been friends for 8 months.
Oh my
I'm
God.
counting. It's our 8th month anniversary.
Time.
No, I'm kidding.
No, I'm counting it. I'm celebrating.
Yes. Thank you, Rachel. Rachel did go out of her way to share your episode, Tsuki, in the Instagram chat. So Rachel, we can always count on you for just being on it.
Even with the link.
But yeah, so Tsuki, I guess you're going to be my temp co-host right now, at least until Nani joins us. Are you excited to kind of put on your co-host hat here? And you already have a hat, so It's perfect. You actually came in ready. Can you describe your hat to people? Because it looks really festive right now.
Oh, thank you.
Is that real plants on your head right now?
Not real. They were actually stolen from a Christmas gift from a couple of Christmases ago from a friend of my mom. She might recognize it or she may not. Gail, you're the one that gave me this without knowing that it was a gift on top of a gift to me.
Nice.
But this is a golden gift wrapping ribbon.
Mm-hmm.
And then this was the floral decor on that Christmas gift. And back here is some shit I bought from Michael's.
Nice. Wow. Yeah. You really added a lot to it. That actually just reminds me. So last Sunday, I volunteered at my church to help decorate the stage. Uh-huh. And I don't decorate. I'm not an interior designer. I don't even have decor at home. That's one of my, at least right now, because we've only lived in our place for less than a year. But it's only now that I've decided to okay, we got to decorate our home now, actually make it feel homey. But anyway, I say this because I was helping my church decorate the stage and all the little pieces, all that stuff on your head. It's we would lay out, the green stuff, whatever you call them, the pine.
Garland?
Yeah, sure. Green stuff, green foresty stuff. And then also we added these candles and it was really cool because all the candles, there was probably 100 candles. And it came with one remote. And if you get close enough to it, you could turn on the candle and off the candle. It was one of those light candles. But they would add, the green stuff, the pine tree green stuff, the leaves. I don't think you call pine trees leaves. But anyway, you know what I'm talking, yeah, that. As if it's on a wreath. It's whatever you put on a wreath.
Okay.
They laid it out the edge of the stage. But then they also added the little things you put on your head, little golden stuff, little extra decor to make the green pop and stuff like that. And so anyway, I was just very fascinated and I was taking mental notes on how to decorate my own home and all these little things. I don't know if you all are watching this live and if you do decorate your home, if you can send me a photo, send us a photo in the direct messages on Instagram of your holiday decor because your girl needs tips. I need tips on like how to like make our home look like a festive home. Anyway, that being said, looks like Nani is trying to join us. So Nani, if you can hear us, let us know. Let me go ahead and pull up my notes here. Hey, everyone, just taking a quick pause here to give you guys a heads up on what's going on. We are on Instagram Live at the time that we are doing this recording. And we're going to, kick off this episode by just giving general updates on what's going on in the community, which is what we typically do. And then we're going to go ahead and get into our special guest interview. We have Tsuki here all the way from episode 138 on TFAWproject.com. Really excited to have her back. By popular demand, we kid you not, by popular demand, we had so many people support us on biasboba.com. And a lot of the comments kept saying, I'd love to hear another interview of Tsuki. I'd love to hear Tsuki again. Let's hear more of Tsuki's story. Like we had just so many people chime in on biasboba.com demanding, this was like months ago, demanding that Tsuki has a part 2 of her interview. So we decided for this holiday season, as we wrap up the year, to, bring on Tsuki and, fulfill everyone's wish and desire to have her back on our show. And we're just so happy that despite all of our busy schedules for the holiday season, all 3 of us were able to finally get together and, get this going. And so, Tsuki, I know that you almost weren't able to make it. So tell us like all the hoops it took for you to kind of get to this very moment to, be present with us today on Instagram and as well as on our podcast.
So I got sick Tuesday.
In short, I got sick.
Yeah. And I was like COVID all over again, like last Christmas.
Yeah.
And I was like angry and like stressed out. And I think that worsened it. But at the same time, I was like, okay, chill. Like, just have some tea. Just have some tea. And like hot, I ate nothing but chicken noodle soup. And my mom was really sweet when she found out that I wasn't feeling good. She like came over and brought me those ingredients because she knew it was a big week for me. It was a big Filipino week for me. So like the interview today and then Filipino Christmas party tomorrow that is like my first Christmas with Filipinos, but also I'm performing in. So,
whoa,
yeah,
hold up, I need to take notes.
Yeah,
everyone.
Hi, Nani.
Oh, Nani, we're on Instagram Live, by the way. Whenever you're ready to join us, just so you know. So Nani's here, y'all.
Oh yeah, sorry. Huh? Let me get on IG. Hold on one second.
Yeah, there you go.
I totally forgot about that part. Okay.
Nani's joining us, y'all. If y'all are watching us on Instagram Live, Nani's going to be here momentarily.
Okay. How do I?
Oh, I know. I know how to add you now, Nani. Here you are. I know how to add you on
request.
Live.
Okay.
Are you requesting?
I am. Yes. It said
request to join. Bam. Here you are.
Okay.
Bringing you on.
Woo. Okay. Take that selfie.
Let's see. I know it looks like Nani's taking a selfie right now. It's awesome.
I know.
There you go. Hey, Nani.
Oh, hi.
I don't like how I'm like,
hold on.
I feel like, am I the one with the biggest image right now?
Yeah.
That's not cool.
I don't know. You look
great. The facilitator.
Well, fine, whatever.
A little bit further away from our cameras, but it's no big deal.
Yeah. Oh, no. So Tsuki, you were saying sorry, I'm totally like talking to you while there's like food in your mouth now. But so you were sick this week. And at first you were kind of like freaking out because you were like, oh my gosh, I have all these things lining up for me this month. And you took a moment to like pause and kind of calm yourself down. You're like, no, it's okay. It's going to be fine. Let's just focus on drinking a bunch of liquids and getting a lot of rest. And so I'm curious, like what it took for you to take that moment to be like, okay, I got to like, hold your horses kind of thing,
Oh, well, it was knowing that I had taken on too much, honestly. Like, I was telling Jen earlier how 2 different Facebook groups from 2 different Filipino Christmas parties were asking me to do a bunch of things at them. So not only was I anticipating my first Filipino Christmas, but 2 of them, and not just enjoying them, but participating in them. And I was like wondering, maybe I should have done that next year. But it's fine. Maybe we'll see how I feel after this week, and if I'm not feeling up to it, maybe I'll just have to step back from some of them. Oh, and there's like that. I'm not gonna go there.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Anyway, I just want to take a second to thank you all for enjoying the raw footage we have here. This is why we podcast, because we can edit out a lot of the things, a lot of hiccups and stuff. But I think we're good. Nani, go ahead and say something on IG Live.
Hello, hello.
Okay. I think we're in. We got it, guys. We did it. Yeah. Yeah. We have a lot to juggle. And I just want to take this moment as we're live to, just express gratitude, for this time. And I feel like I'm like opening up in prayer right now. I'm really not. I just want to take this moment. Oh, looks like we lost Nani on Instagram
I'm
here for a second.
Here.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I see you on Zencaster. Okay. Well, first and foremost, happy holidays. Let's go ahead and open up with that. And here's the thing. Just real quick. When I think about like how sometimes I feel like I'm holding people back to get somewhere, I always remind myself of this quote. And I feel like I've said this many times on the show. And I don't know if I'm sourcing it correctly. But what I do know, according to Google, is that it's an African proverb. And it goes, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And the reason why I bring that up is because the only reason why we're all able to be here today is because we're all here, as imperfectly as possible. And I want to honor this moment and appreciate this moment. And I want our IG people to recognize that it truly is hard to put the show together. And, part of the editing makes it sound as though we are put together, when in reality, there's a lot to juggle here. And so I'm level-headed, Nani. I think Tsuki's level-headed as far as I can tell. And I just want to let you know that you're in good company and, we love you. And we're just so happy that you can join us today, despite a lot of whatever's going on right now.
Yes, clearly, as you said, there's a lot to juggle. And I appreciate you saying that, because I am obviously not as prepared as I would usually be. So I appreciate that grace. And again, my deepest apologies for being so late, because I know we're way over here and you've had to manage that in between. So thank you for doing that. I don't think I say that enough. And I'm ready to get into it whenever you guys are.
Okay. Why do I feel like crying right now?
Okay. As do I.
Oh my God.
It's a day, y'all. Okay. It's definitely a day for IG.
Oh man. Yeah. Oh man. That was good.
3 days in a row.
Yeah. Good thing I didn't wear makeup today, because it just would have melted off anyway. All right, cool. Well, with all that being said, if we're all ready, let's go ahead and update our community on what's been going on nowadays. So we're just going to go ahead and dive into it with our updates. As the holiday season is approaching, we just want to let you know that the TFAW community will, for the most part, be pretty active. We have a lot of exciting things going on this month. And so the first one is our reflection series. And so far, we have done 4 cohorts. And if you are hearing about the reflection series for the first time, essentially what it is you can slide into our DMs on Instagram. And for 5 days, we give you some reflection prompts. And it's totally up to you if you want to just journal on your own, or, share with the group in the group chat, how you feel about whatever question is given to you. And so this has been a very interesting experiment that Nani and I started doing at the beginning of Filipino American History Month in October, when we launched season 4 of the TFAW Project. And it's been really cool to see, just the incredible conversations that have come out of this. And lucky us, Tsuki happens to be in all of them. She has been in every single cohort since we started. So Tsuki, I think you can better explain the experience than us. So let our listeners know, and let our IG listeners here know as well, what has it been like for you to be a part of all 4 of the reflection series so far?
Mm-hmm. It's been definitely taking over Discord, but it's a great addition to Discord.
Yeah.
Where I secondly connected with you guys other than email. But yeah, no, it's just been a lot, honestly. And what's great about it is that it's giving you grace on giving you that power to decide when to engage and even not to engage. And I think that's the best part about it. Like, you can choose to be part of it without feeling pressure to be part of it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Even in your silence, like, you're there with us, and that still means a lot. We know that you're still reading it and listening it. You don't have to feel pressure to say anything about yourself. But if you do, that's great, because that's not easy with a bunch of strangers. And even though I'm an extrovert, I see where that's really scary.
Yeah.
especially if you're in there with me and other extroverts. So.
Well, Tsuki, what I think is really interesting about your experience is that you have learned to listen, right? Like that's something that you wanted to challenge yourself with, because like you mentioned, you have so much to share and so much to say. And we mentioned this in the book club as well. Shout out to Rachel if she's still watching, but you two are very assertive people. You're very opinionated, you're very outspoken. And so part of this reflection series for you is learning to just listen and even respond thoughtfully to people that are sharing, their innermost, secrets to our community. So how has that been like to exercise that active listening muscle?
It's funny because I want to respond to them and let them know that I'm listening to them. But at the same time, I'm like, would I be taking up space by responding? Like, what? Maybe that should be Jen and Nani.
Yeah.
So that has been my juggle. But, overall, no, it's been great. Like, it just allows me to relax too, by just listening to people instead of feeling that urge to fill in the silence or to like talk about life stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I want to affirm the space you take up in our reflection series and let you know that Nani and I, part of why we started the reflection series is we wanted people to, respond when we can't respond. Like we're running a bunch of things, as you know. Our Discord community, our reflection series, our newsletter, our podcast, our private podcast, and all the other things we're trying to do to forward our efforts to make this a sustainable show. And so when there are people like you in the group, just taking that initiative and actually finding joy in it, responding to people, I just want to let you know that we are here for it. Nani, I'm assuming that you agree.
I definitely agree. I think if you were taking up too much space, we would definitely, let you know. And so far, the way that you have engaged on all of the different platforms that you have with us is not overbearing at all. I think it's just the right amount. And your reflections are so insightful. And so just like we hold them so close to our hearts that it would be hard to overdose on that. So I just want you to know that like the feedback that you have given us so far and continue to give us in real time, via Discord or emails before Discord or however you choose to engage with us. Now the reflection series is like always welcomed.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm glad that we're still keeping this going.
Yeah, for sure. And so why don't you let us know, Tsuki, why should people join? Because we're starting a new cohort next week. Why should they join?
Because it's also kind of like educational. It's like, you probably hear me say this a lot on all platforms. It's like alternative, unconventional, feeling, collaborative learning, and not just like the academia behind it, but also the emotional learning, which people like underrated emotional intellect or emotional connecting, emotional insight, being self-aware, like being sensitive to other people or learning to be sensitive and to not go with that whole like toxic like individualism or what's the word I'm looking for, just not expressing yourself, for the lack of a better word.
Yeah.
I'm going to go in a rabbit hole if I keep talking about that.
No, I think that it brings up the theme of assertiveness that we've been reading about and discussing in our book club. And that's also something that I've been thinking a lot about as I finish the book is like, now I have this like barometer in my head where everywhere I go or every story I hear, I'm always like, oh, that's interesting. So like, where would they fall on the assertiveness scale, or where do I fall in this moment on the assertiveness scale? And how can I become more self-aware about that too? I think in my last recording with Jen for, I don't know what we did that for, TIFA or TJN, we were talking about that and just how I measure myself on that scale these days in every interaction that I have with like my family or my husband or even my son. It's like, how assertive should I be right now? Like, how assertive can I be? And like, why do I fight the idea of even taking that kind of approach in these moments? Like, why do I want to stay small? So I think that's a really interesting topic. And I'm excited to dive further into that in the book club sessions and also just in our like daily interactions with you in our IG series, like wherever people are willing to have the conversation. I think that's something like a little key that's been unlocked in my mind.
Yeah, I was like that this morning, like my little barometer at work, which is another reason why I felt frazzled today. Because like upon feeling better the past couple of days, I didn't think I was going to have to come into work today because I was off today. And then I had to come in because my boss got sick. And I was like, oh my God, like, am I going to miss the interview? And I was really just like mentally ready to just like relax today or like, get some chores done. But then this like threw me off. And there were moments at work where I was like, I felt like, should I be assertive with this person? Because like, I don't know if I'm PMSing or if the stress of the holidays is getting to me. But there was one where I wanted to talk to them. And I was like, is this bitchy or is this assertive? Like, what am I going to gain from depending on which way the conversation goes, if this conversation with that person happens? But whatever, I'm in a better headspace now. So I'm not going to really dwell on it unless it comes up again. But I digress. Since we were talking about assertive.
Yeah, for me, I think about like whenever I'm in these situations where I'm feeling like flustered or like I was so fixated on something happening and then, like a wrench gets thrown into my plans. One thing that's worked for me is I just learned to like compartmentalize my feelings and focus on the objective. It's like, what do I need to accomplish right now? It's like my emotions like turn off and I'm like, okay, I get it. We're stressed. We're anxious. We're freaking out, like our plans aren't going the way that we want it to go, but like now we have some new information. I share this because I deal with this with my husband all the time. Like Nani knows, like he throws wrenches at me left and right, over and under, just like everywhere. And that probably comes from his like military background of like just, kind of being very objective. And I have come to find that that works. And then I learn like just be able to focus on the objective on hand with the resources I'm now given with the new information I have. And then later, I learned to like open up that box of emotions that I compartmentalized and take some time to process it after the fact. Like I messaged my therapist about it or I messaged my best friend about it. I learned to let it go because otherwise it builds up inside. And then, of course, resentment happens and all these, it starts to snowball. We were talking about snowball offline earlier. It starts to snowball into like all these other emotions and causes more anxiety. It just becomes like a monster. Like it takes a life of its own when, at least for me, when I let my emotions get the best of me. And part of why I'm mentioning this too is typically this time of the year, I have what they call SAD, the seasonal affective disorder. Did I say that right? So basically it's like seasonal depression. And so I've learned throughout the years, like right now, you can't see this, but I have one of those like light therapy lights, like the light box next to me. And it's supposed to like exude like UV rays, I think my way, so that it kind of makes me like in a good mood. And it acts as though like it's my sunlight when I'm in the office, but just kind of like being, proactive about that. But in the years of like dealing with all that and the depression that I would spiral into, I'm just recognizing now like where I'm at and why I can be very level-headed, even with today, even with everything that just happened before we officially 1,000 times later decided to start recording. So if I can be kind of like the level-headed person in this situation, then I'm happy to be that person to keep this going. But, there's a lot of high stakes right now with the holiday season. I can recognize that. Nani and I talked about this in our last recording that not only is it the holidays, but it's also our birthday month. And so there's a lot of things that are coming up. And yeah, is it going to be our birthday by the time this comes out? No, I don't think so, but close enough. We'll take it. We'll take the birthday.
Happy early birthday, regardless.
Yeah, we'll take that.
You.
We'll take. But anyway, I'm kind of rambling right now. So am I making sense?
Yeah, totally.
Yes, so far so good.
Okay, cool. To what I'm feeling these days.
Yeah, for sure. I want to take a quick second to give a shout out to some people on IG. So we have a bunch of people that joined us. So Rachel, glad you're still here. Let us know, just comment when you end up hopping off, just so we can officially say goodbye to you, Rachel. For everyone who stuck around during our tech challenges or our tech, I'm trying to reframe it to be a positive thing, like our tech surprises. We thank you all for sticking it out with us. And this will sound so much cleaner in the podcast recording, BT Dubs. So you all really get to see, what happens behind the scene here. But I don't know, Tsuki, if you're looking at the phone, but a lot of people have joined us. Sis Finch joined us. Trail Bum joined us. Don't Call Me Etta joined us. Artfully Sarah. Angel from our Reflection series. Welcome back. And Rachel is sharing a term here. She said, I think the term is called emotional intelligence. Okay. I think you're saying emotional intelligence in regards to like what I was describing earlier and learning to compartmentalize my feelings and deal with them later. I think that's kind of where you're coming from, Rachel. Let me know if I got that right. But just wanted to say shout out to all of you. Thank you all so much for being here, joining us live in this holiday season on a Friday. We really do appreciate your time. So, okay, moving on. So, Nani, you had hinted about this book club that we have. And right now, the main thing that we're doing is reading Dr. Abby's book, Speak Up, Anak. And for this particular month, though, we are dedicating our book club to be more of like a holiday/birthday celebration, end of the year celebration. And I'm really excited to do this. This is actually Rachel's idea, who unfortunately can't make it anymore. Sorry, Rachel, and for rescheduling on you like that. But, I'm excited to like take this last book club session of the year, to be able to slow down and just connect with all of you and share any lingering thoughts anyone has had about the book club. And sorry, one more thing I have to mention, because I totally just skipped over the reflection series. Just to remind everyone, if you are interested in joining the reflection series, it is free. And all you have to do is private message us on Instagram, and we'll be happy to add you to the next cohort. I do believe we are starting again like next Monday. So if you want to be a part of it, even if you have been in it already, like Tsuki, she's been in all 4 of them so far, we would love to have you join us, especially around this time of the year when I think it's very easy to, for some of us, we can go in one direction where we have too much things going on. And then for some people, it's kind of a lonely time of the year. And so we hope that with what we're providing all of you, we could at least be that company that you might need during this holiday season. And part of that is joining our reflection series and transitioning now to our book club. So just so you know, we don't have the date just yet. If you want to vote on the date of our book club, just go to our Instagram bio link and be able to vote on the days that may be available for you. Now, just so you know, if you want to be part of our book club, you also have to support us a minimum of 1 cup of boba, and you're in. You're basically in for life, and you'll get updated whenever we have a book club. And I think that's all I want to say about that. But we are trying to figure out the dates right now. But Tsuki,
Yeah.
you have also been part of the book club. You recently started joining like in the recent months. I love how I defer to you right now as we're trying to juggle everything. But what has your experience been like being part of our book club?
It's been so fascinating and overwhelming in the best of ways. Like, I'm learning so much about Filipino American identity crisis and our history that has been not talked about in our regular US history books. And even if you do know some Philippine history, if you're local or you live there now or you used to live there, like that's still kind of dinged by the Marcos family. But anyway, I'm not going to get into that. So back to the book club. It's just been so fun. Like my favorite so far has been Latinos of Asia, because that answers so many of my questions. Like I wish I had this book as a guideline growing up when I felt like I was the only Filipino in Vermont, when clearly I wasn't. But even still, like if I had known that there were other Filipinos in Vermont, this book I felt would have helped me be more brave to connect with them. Because I grew up knowing that I was adopted, that I was never surrounded by that Filipino influence, no relatives, no friends, no neighbors that were Filipino. But like I think it had to take this motivation in me to want to connect, and I don't think that was there yet. I still don't think I could grasp what that meant. And so I wish I had this book among the other books that we've been reading to like rely on, to lean on growing up.
Yeah.
So I've been having fun listening to you guys, even if I'm not reading the book or if I'm not always participating in the recordings for the book club.
Yeah, no, I totally know what you mean. I feel like if only I had access to this kind of representation, whether it was in like the Barbie dolls that I played with or the movies that I watched or the shows that were, available on TV or books that I could read, then my life probably would have come out so much different. And again, going back to this theme of like assertiveness and creating this barometer in my head that I'm now just measuring just for fun and research, all Filipino Americans that I know. And the conversation, I think, Jen, that I was telling you about that I had with Fufi, and this theme that I noticed, I guess, of like the little sibling syndrome, and how she was kind of explaining to me that, Fufi, if you guys didn't know, is the youngest sister of just 2 sisters. And she was saying the other day in the theme of this conversation that I actually remind her so much more of her sister than like I remind her of her. And that the similarities between us are like, our trajectories of our life are similar, but also Fufi being the little sister, like she was able to use her older sister, Siobhan, as this model to know like what not to do, what to do, what's working, what's not working. And so she then is able to go about her own life so much more assertively, confidently, essentially, in what she's doing, because she's been watching her older sister her whole life. And for her older sister, or for me, like we don't have those models to look up for. For you, Jen, you didn't have a model to look up to. You were the first sister. So like, you are the one setting the example. And that does have something to do with how assertive or how confident you feel in being assertive out in the world. It's, beyond the four walls of your home. So again, everything just keeps coming back to this topic for me of assertiveness in this book that we're reading by Dr. Abby, even in conversations like this about like, oh, I thought that was totally just a personality thing. And maybe it is, to some degree, but this idea of having a model or some representation to look to even feel like something is possible for you makes a huge difference. So I think reading a book like Latinos of Asia that explains so much of your like day-to-day kind of cultural experience, whether or not you're connected with your Filipino heritage at the time, like it's so relatable and it makes you feel so seen.
And I love that you say that. Got a quick comment from Angel here on Instagram. She said, this was so true for me and my sister. My sister was a real guide for me. So Angel, it sounds like you were a younger sibling. And yeah. As Nani had mentioned, I was not the eldest, but I was the eldest daughter. And there was a point where for a long time, I felt like I had to be a role model to my sister. And, when I look back at it, part of like why I needed to be a role model to her is because I needed to believe that there was still good in the world after like losing my dad and dealing with a lot of things that came after that. And in a way, that's what I needed. I was so grateful to have my sister in my life. I'm acting like she's dead, but she's not. She's still around. But I'm so grateful that growing up, I was incredibly like I had that beacon of light. I had that sense of purpose to be successful, to take chances, to put myself out there, to fail forward, because like I had a younger sister that I felt incredibly responsible for. Doesn't mean I was perfect at it, at all. But I did take on that responsibility. And when I think about, who she became, the fact that she was the first to go to a UC college and travel the world and live in New York City for a couple years and, be able to just do really well professionally. I mean, I don't want to take credit for it, but I do like to believe that we were able to like protect her in a way where she was able to do that as opposed to dealing with all the stuff that came after losing my dad. So yeah, very interesting conversation. I didn't realize we would go there, but I think that's definitely a deeper conversation we can have on Chismis with Jen and Nani. And real quick, Angel was also saying, but even still, representation was so minimal. It's sad to look back and think about the lack of representation back in the early 90s. Absolutely. I agree. And, kind of the headspace I'm in nowadays is, we're here to create that representation, right? Like, just like what we learned in Latinos of Asia, that Filipinos don't fit in a box. And what we're also learning with Dr. Abby's book, Speak Up and Knock, we're learning that, part of the reason why we want to be more assertive is we can be the representation we want to see in this world. We can teach people what it means to be Panay, what it means to be Filipino, what it means to be us, taking up space. And so this book club is really incredible, y'all. And all it really takes, if you want to be a part of it on a monthly basis, is to support us a minimum of 1 cup of boba on biasboba.com. And you'll get all the updates there. You'll get notified, like if we have to reschedule, you'll get notified on, voting what book we want to read next. And more importantly, even if you cannot make the monthly book club, we do provide the replay for you on biasboba.com. I know, Tsuki, you weren't able to make one of our recent book club sessions, but instead what you did was you emailed us a novel of your thoughts about the book of Latinos of Asia. And that is very welcome as well. We welcome that. We welcome that kind of engagement. You don't always have to be there in real time to join us and participate in this book club. Nani and I have more updates in the later future on how we're going to make it so much easier for our community to get access to all the resources that we've addressed or shared or articles or, stuff we've had around these books. We're going to have an easier way to get access to that in the future. But for now, I'm just going to leave it at that. I think, Nani, you know what I'm talking about, but I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm just going to continue to tease. So Nani's nodding her head. So she totally agrees with me.
Yeah.
So that is that, y'all. Any final thoughts about the book club?
Just to piggyback on what you were just saying without too much piggybacking, because we were, rolling out some big announcements for you guys in the near future, but not right now. So you'll have to stay tuned to really piece it together. But there will be a place, essentially a hub of all of the book clubs that we've done and all of the notes that we've taken or recordings that we've done or whatever other information we have to share all in one place very soon. So if that's something that guys are interested in accessing the archives of or joining in the future, just know we have big plans.
Yeah. Yeah, Tsuki doesn't even know what we're talking about. She's like, what are you guys talking about? You're like
I'm
talking
smiling and nodding like I understand, but no, I don't.
I'm on the show, so I'm acting like I totally know what the chismis is right now.
I'm on camera, so I gotta.
We want people to be curious, and we want you all to look forward to what comes ahead. But as a reminder, we have not, so I'm telling this to our IG community right now, we have not decided on the official date of our final book club of the year just yet. And so if you want to be a part of it, all you have to do is check the bio link of our Instagram account, and you'll see the link there where it says join the book club. And when you go on there, if you are already a biasboba.com supporter or a member, like meaning you supported us at least one time, you'll be able to get a direct link on a form where you can vote which dates we're offering, to decide like which date would work best for you, for this month. And so we want to take in those votes by December 6th, which is next Tuesday. So if you want to be a part of our book club this year, the last book club in December, go ahead and check out that link, our bio link in our Instagram account. And we would love to hear your vote and see what your availability is. And then we just came out with the latest news. We decided that in addition to this book club, this quote unquote book club, because it's going to be really more of a holiday/birthday celebration, we decided that we want to go ahead and throw one more virtual event by the end of the year. And that is going to be our vision board event, which is going to be taking place. So go ahead and put this on your calendar now if you're interested. It's a free event that is going to take place on Tuesday, December 27th at 9 p.m. Eastern time. Let me backtrack. I have to say all the time zones. That's 6 p.m. Pacific time, 7 p.m. Mountain time, and 8 p.m. Central time, and 9 p.m. Eastern time. And again, this is going to take place Tuesday, December 27th. I believe this is the day or so after Christmas. And a vision board, in case anyone's wondering, especially Tsuki, because she was curious to know what a vision board was. A vision board is basically an opportunity, like I'm going to explain it the old school way. The old school way is that what people used to do is they would gather up, magazines and cut out all the things, all their aspirations, like maybe get a certain car or have a certain career or buy a certain, outfit. And basically what you do is you cut out all of the things that you aspire for and you glue it on a board, hence vision board. It's being able to create a vision for yourself that you want to achieve and aspire to attain. And so nowadays, because we're doing it virtually, you can still very much do it the old school way. Also, there are easier ways to do it. For me, I'm more of like a digital person. Pinterest is a great way to do it. You just create a Pinterest board and you just collect all the images that are already available for you on Pinterest and create that digital vision board. And so that is something we're going to be doing at the end of the year. Once again, that's Tuesday, December 27th, 6 p.m. Pacific time, 9 p.m. Eastern time. I know, Nani, this is a collaboration that we're going to be doing with Dr. Abby. So any thoughts that you want to share with our listeners about this collaboration?
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that you asked this question. Tsuki, I think you asked on Discord, like, what's a vision board?
Yeah.
And I am used to doing it the old school way, how Jen just described, like cutting out a magazine or 3 and like literally pasting them onto a board that you then can put wherever you want or do whatever you want with, to kind of just like visualize, manifest all the things that you want to happen in the new year. And I'm just being introduced to the idea of doing it like virtually or digitally. So I also found another software that does it for an activity I did for work that we might explore. But again, Dr. Abby is going to be kind of leading this process and walking us through it. So I think we're all going to be like in the same boat in terms of knowing what to expect, because the only way that I've ever done it is the old school way where you actually cut papers out of a magazine, which I'm fully prepared to do. So however it comes, I will accept it. But it's a really fun activity and it sounds like kind of cliche and cheesy, like, before you do it. But then after you do it, you're like, wow, that was really just like appropriate for wrapping up this year and setting intentions for the new year. And, we have like a specific theme that we're going to be working with for 2023. And I think that it's just going to be a great way to convene our community for the new year.
Yeah. Tsuki, I know you're hearing about this for the first time, and actually you're the first to sign up. So I imagine you're pretty excited for this vision board event.
Yeah, it sounds like chaotic goodness. Like a mess.
She's like, I don't know what to expect, but I'm here.
There better be a mess. Like, I just want to, for once, not have to worry about being perfect. Not that I am, or
Yes.
that
Yes.
Totally.
I know about being perfect, but this just sounds like so creative and fun and like tangible and something you can be proud of that's right there in front of you, like on your wall. Like the Pinterest is I love Pinterest, but I feel like that's like trapped in your phone unless you open
Yeah.
it, where this sounds more like you can connect to physically because it's right
Yeah.
there in front of you on a wall. So this sounds fun. I think I saw
Yeah.
someone do it once. It never occurred to me that's what it was called.
Yeah. A vision board.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So there you have it, y'all. If you are interested in setting out your vision or your goals, your objectives, your hopes, your dreams for 2023, we are offering a free vision board event December 27th on Tuesday. We'll provide more information for you. I think it's already in the latest newsletter. So Rachel, I don't know if you're still there, but if you wanted to share the latest newsletter in
That
the
would be
chat
helpful. I'll find it. I'll find it.
Okay. I'm just saying that I told Rachel to say goodbye, like to make sure she says goodbye, just so we can say
If
goodbye to
she's
her.
leaving.
Yeah, if she's leaving. But if you're there, if you wanted to attach the newsletter in the chat, that would be great. And thank you for participating with us live and kind of sticking it out with all of our technical surprises. There you go. That's how I'm reframing it. All right, y'all. So there you have it. Those are the major updates we have going on for this month. Let me go ahead and remind you all one more time. We have the Reflection Series, which is a free 5-day event that takes place on Instagram. If you want to be a part of that, if you want to connect with fellow Pinay's or fellow, podcast listeners of our show and reflect in community with others, all you have to do is private message us on Instagram and we'll be happy to add you to that. The second thing is the last book club of the year is going to take place, I think, sometime the second or third week of December. It will take place before Christmas. I will say that. And if you want to vote on the best date that could work for you, all you have to do is go to the bio link of our Instagram profile right now and go ahead and select that first link once you click on it and say that you want to join the book club and support us just a minimum of 1 cup of boba, and you can vote on the day. And we will announce officially on December 6th when the official last book club of the year is going to take place. And I want to mention this one more time because I tend to find that, at least for me, I had always found book clubs really intimidating. And so I want to reassure you all that you don't have to have read any of the books that we talked about this year to be a part of it. A lot of times people come because they want to learn from other people and their interpretation of the book, or they just want to hang out. So if that's you, once again, you can join us for our book club. And the third and final most exciting event we're having this year is the Vision Board. This is the first time we're doing it, and we are partnering up with Dr. Abby, who has been on our show in the past, and we are currently reading her book, Speak Up Anak, in our book club. She's going to be spearheading our Vision Board event Tuesday, December 27th. And so go ahead and get all those details in our latest newsletter, which is also available in our Instagram bio link. So we just like to roll out with all of these amazing resources for all of you to get involved, especially around this time of the year where for some people it could be overwhelming with events, and for some people it could feel really lonely. And we just want to make sure that we are one of those people, resources to keep you company and at this time of the year. All that being said, we are going to go ahead and wrap up this TFA episode and now step into our official interview with Tsuki. But I want to go ahead and officially pause this recording and start a new live. So if you guys are joining us live, just know that I'm going to end this video soon. And we're going to be starting a new live so we can reset the room. But before we go, Tsuki, any final thoughts about all the updates we shared so far? And then I'm going to go ahead and go to Nani.
Don't feel overwhelmed. Have fun with this. I would like to get to know all of you, and hopefully I can assemble Filipino Vermonters, because there's just not enough Northeastern Filipinos, I feel like.
Yeah, I got to represent.
Yeah, so I hope you
They're there somewhere.
Yeah, there's Tsuki.
Yeah,
Tsuki's there.
Yeah, I've met them, and I'm like, where you at? Like, I've been telling you about all of this.
I love it. Nani, any closing thoughts before we transition to our official interview with Tsuki?
No, I think you covered everything beautifully. And I think I am ready to dive in with Tsuki and just get a snapshot of what is going on with her today, because that is the reason we are all here.
Yes, wonderful. All right. Well, to our listeners, thank you all so much for joining. Remember, you can check out the show notes of this episode to get any information that we addressed in this conversation, or check out the latest newsletter if you are subscribed to our newsletter, which is also a free resource we give. We have a lot of free resources, and all of this is possible because of our biasboba.com supporters and members. If it wasn't for your support on biasboba.com, we wouldn't be able to keep our lights on. We wouldn't be able to hire Dennis to make us sound amazing. We wouldn't be working with Patricia, our community manager, to, really help us be that third person to manage our community. So all of that is possible for biasboba.com. And if you want to support us, if you want to make sure that our show continues moving on and continues being sustainable, we would very much love your support on biasboba.com. No pressure, but if you feel like this is something you want to invest in, you want to see more of this type of content, go ahead and support us on biasboba.com. All right, y'all, I'm going to officially wrap this up. And to people joining us on Instagram, we're going to reset the room. So I'm going to end this live, but just stay tuned. Just pay attention in the next upcoming seconds. I'm going to start a new live shortly, and we will see you in the next live recording. So talk to you all later.
You missed out.
There you go. And we end on that note.
Thank you for listening to the Filipino American Woman Project podcast show.
Do you want to continue to be part of the conversation? Then join our Discord community for free today. Check out the link in the show notes to join us now.
And don't forget to subscribe to our weekly newsletter for the latest show updates and episode releases. The link is also available in the show notes.
Lastly, if you wish to support us on our journey, consider showing us some love on biasboba.com.
That's all for now. Chat with you next time.
Yay!